Hey guys, QUIGON QUASAR back again with another Mass Effect Andromeda video, and in this video I'm actually going to be talking about all the rumors surrounding the supposed Batarian single player DLC. Now, a lot of these rumors have sort of circulated and coming into existence because of this new added character, because of the Batarian Scrapper and more recently the Batarian Vanguard. Everyone thought because they added these two guys, then surely they were going to add some kind of story structure, or at least, at the very least, a tiny little add-on or update for the single player that would explain why these guys are in the multiplayer. And that makes sense. So if they added Geth to the multiplayer and didn't give us any sort of background or backstory, then it would be like, well, what? How did these guys get here? So I'm going to be talking about why these guys are actually here, why they're actually in the multiplayer. They've actually added a little bit of the story, but sadly not to the actual campaign, which is a bit of a bummer. It is, but it's probably going to mean that, well, we're probably not going to get any single player DLC, at least Batarian single player DLC. Now, the way I'm going to prove this is, I'm going to go into Prestige, down into Collections, and I'm going to go scroll right down to the bottom of the characters list. As you can see, we've got the Batarian Vanguard here. If you look in the description of the Batarian Vanguard, it says, look, ultra rare class, Batarian Vanguard, blah, blah, blah. Scroll down to the next page down at the bottom. It actually says the Vanguard is one of the two Batarians given asylum on the Solarian Ark in exchange for helping the Alliance capture their former boss, who led a notorious Batarian pirate gang that attacks ships uncomfortably close to the Citadel. So basically, they added a little bit of the story. There's a little bit more here. Batarians were granted passage on the Solarian Ark in exchange for information and an agreement to provide security for future Solarians in Andromeda. So that's quite sad. It's a bit of a bummer. Read that, I was kind of annoyed because they've sort of snuck in a little bit of story in the background of it. And I don't know, I think it's kind of a crappy way of doing it, to be honest, because had something as big as the Batarians to Mass Effect Andromeda Multiplayer. They could at least some proper story, but instead we got a little bit of story written, literally a character card. That's literally it. We got a little bit of story written on a character card. Now that did, or not first read that when I unlocked this character a couple of days ago. I saw that pop up, and at first it was like, I thought it was interesting. I was like, oh, that's how they're here. That's why they're here. And then I thought about it, and it's a really crappy way of doing it, in my opinion, because they could have done a tiny campaign DLC, tiny, like 200 megabytes. Update that really added nothing, just added like a segment to the campaign, or just it could have been absolutely completely small and basically insignificant. It didn't even have to be very good at all, but story belongs in the campaign, not in the description of a goddamn character card. So it is quite annoying. They didn't add the same thing for the oh no, they have added the same thing. I didn't that's been on there. The Batarian Scrapper had since the Batarian Scrapper had been available. I think they added this in the news. This sort of little story doesn't really talk that much about why the Batarians are here in the Batarian Scrapper. It's in the Batarian Vanguard where it really talks about it. But yeah, I thought that was kind of a crappy way of sneaking it in. If you're going to add something like they might add Geth now, and we can't even be hopeful for some Geth story DLC or an explanation as to why the Geth are in Andromeda. Because they might just put it in a goddamn card. They might give us like a one sentence little character card description that says why all these Geth are here in Andromeda, and it's really crappy. It is. I don't like it. I don't like the way that they've sort of snuck it in via the back door and not really added any story, like I said. And this really rings true. I think this is the most factual thing you'll find in this video. I think story belongs in the story. Story belongs in the campaign. It really does. They shouldn't have snuck in a tiny bit of story like this. They should have. I really don't think it would have cost really any resources or many resources, much money or much time to sort of put it into the campaign. That's if they were doing like a minor, insignificant sort of update. They could have done that, but obviously, preferably and ideally, they would have added like a big, expansive single-player DLC. But yeah, here's hoping that they do add that. But it's unlikely. It is unlikely because a lot of people were talking about, oh, because these two characters are in the multiplayer now, it means there's going to be campaign DLC based around the Batarians, and that's just not true. It's not, sadly. It's unlikely that we will get any Batarian DLC. It's still possible, obviously, but the fact that they've just sort of given us the story in kind of like a sneaky, stealthy, crappy way, it's unlikely that they're going to try and cover it too much in single player. If we do get single player DLC at some point, we're probably not going to get it about the Batarians, because like I said, they've already really covered it. I wouldn't call that covering it, but they've already snuck it in and added it to the game in a very minor and stupid way, in my opinion. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I just found that out. I thought it would be useful, sort of quell a lot of the rumors around that. I, more than anyone, want some Batarian DLC. I really do. I think they're one of the more interesting races just because of how, just militant and aggressive they are. I think that would be interesting, putting them into the mix in Andromeda, where everyone's sort of hand-holding and being friendly with each other. Putting these guys in the mix, I think would really spice it up and make it even more enjoyable, and create maybe even like a new collection of antagonists and bad guys for sort of post-completion of the campaign. These guys could come in like the Batarians. A lot of them are pirates, bad guys. A lot of them are evil, so I think that would be a good way of really putting them in the game and adding more sort of bad guys, more maybe if it was just a Batarian pirate gang that you had to go and take down or something, that would be pretty damn cool. I think it would be a really cool way of putting it in, spicing up. But yeah, that was just my way of clearing up those rumors. If you enjoyed the video or find it informative or entertaining at all, leave a like. It would really help me out, and I would really appreciate it. If you want to see any more of my videos, right now I'm playing the hell out of multiplayer with this guy, with the Batarian Vanguard. If you want to see those videos, definitely stick around and subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.